She starred in The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Project Runway, and Making a Model with Yolanda Hadid. Of course, she's got a very famous family. She joins us on the line. Good morning, Yolanda.
Good morning. How are you?
We are very, very good. Now, a couple of years ago, not many people around the world had heard of you, but you are a household name these days thanks to your own career and that of your children. How much has life changed? 10 years ago, did you imagine that your family would be all across tabloid magazines all over the world?
Yeah, I've been in the public eyes myself since I'm 16 years old. I started modeling,
wow.
so it was kind of a gradual getting into into this career. And I always knew that, especially Gigi was going to be a model, and then now I have three that are in the same business. So, but it was always part of our life.
Wow, three. After modelling for 15 years and then sort of giving it away to start your own family, was it an easy decision to sort of let your girls follow your footsteps? Because it can be such a tough industry and very, very cutthroat.
Yeah. You know what? I kind of, I always dressed them up and I was taking pictures. I mean, I have such a great passion for photography. So they kind of rolled into it as young children. But I was very strict about never letting them enter the industry until they turned 18. Like I said, I started at 16 and that was very early. And, at that time, especially Gigi was like, well, everybody's modeling at 16, 17. And I was like, I don't care. You're not starting a day before you turn 18. And, it's funny that 3-4 years later, after, she's now one of the most famous models in the world, she often, both of my girls, both Bella and Gigi, often, when we sit around the house and talk, they go like, thank God, Mommy, that you didn't allow us to start earlier. Because I don't know how we would have dealt with that kind of success earlier on. But it takes the experience for them to really appreciate it, right?
How competitive are they? Because two siblings in the same industry, how competitive do they get?
Not at all. It's funny because I made them understand early on that anybody that's looking to book a blonde like Gigi is not going to book Bella, and vice versa. I mean, there's such different. Bella is much more exotic, dark. Gigi is the all, Dutch American looking, blonde. They don't go for the same jobs.
Right.
And, they're supportive. I mean, at the end of the day, you have your family in that business, and that's, they're very tight.
Now,
So
you
that's
know
not
more
a
than
problem.
anyone that if you get into modeling, you are going to be sexualized, whether you like it or not. Was that a concern for you? What did you tell them, knowing that this was going to happen, to give them the confidence to own that moving forward?
No, I mean, that's just part of life, and that's been part of life thousands of years. That's nothing new. And I think that if you, as a woman, if you have self-worth, which I raise them to be strong, independent women that have a good self-worth, then you do what you really want to do, and you say no to the things that make you feel uncomfortable.
You've made some pretty big fundamental changes yourself recently. Like I saw a post from Instagram January this year where you're proclaiming that you're abstaining from cosmetic surgery for good. So what does that mean? Like no implants, fillers, Botox?
Well,
is this true?
It's funny that it wasn't about surgery. It was about toxins in my body. I mean, I removed my implants and I don't do Botox or fillers or any of that stuff anymore. And trust me, I've done plenty of it in my life. So
Right.
It's not, it wasn't about that I've never done it. I've done plenany of it. And I just at some point had to choose, for my health rather than, vanity. So
Yeah, and
that
was
was
there-
the message,
did
what the
something
message was about.
Yeah. Was there something specific that happened with your health that made you kind of wake up, or was it just a case of
Yeah. No. I was very sick. When I first got on the Housewives show, I got very sick with Lyme disease.
Oh, yes.
So I suffered for 7 years, and as you know, there is no cure for Lyme disease.
No.
I just had to go through so many things, and eventually taking all these toxins out of my body, really gave my immune system the space to kick in and fight a lot of, the viral things that I was fighting, the Lyme disease and many other things. So it was for medical reasons.
So Bella,
And then, we don't hear Sorry.
That's okay. So I was just about to say that both your children, or both Bella and your son as well, have Lyme disease as well. So that must be a very difficult thing to handle.
It's really tough because, and in your country, there's a lot of Lyme disease and, there is no cure. So it's an everyday battle. Funny enough, I found an incredible product that it actually comes from Australia, which is called GC-MAF Plus, that I've been using for about 8 months. And it's a great, immune booster, to kill many viral things, but also great for Lyme disease. And I use it every day. But as you know, there is no cure. So for me, thank God I know how to guide my children and try to keep them as healthy as possible. But that's why, this is my biggest mission in life, is to hopefully be part of finding a cure for Lyme disease.
Well, you sound like such a strong, independent, positive role model for your kids. And you can tell in your voice how much you love and support them so much. They do have some high-profile relationships, though, and I know with mine, not like non-famous life, my mom would stress so much, and I was dating in my 20s and was so hard on the boys that ever tried to date me. Is that you with the likes of with Abel, The Weeknd, and Zayn coming through? Are you that one that's like, you need to deal with Mama Hadid first?
No, I'm not at all that way. I believe, I've raised my children right, and I hope I gave them all the tools they need to make the right choices for themselves. And if they love him, I love him. And that's how, for me, that's the most important thing for me. I mean, I'm not the person to tell them who to date or not to date, and I embrace whoever they bring home.
Well, Yolanda Hadid, it is a fascinating life that you are leading, so thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for having me.